And now let's quickly look at 9 vicious and dangerous contagious diseases. First, MDR-TB, multiple drug-resistant tuberculosis, which is a time bomb. TB had essentially disappeared from the United States thanks to our excellent hygiene and sanitation and thanks to our brilliant drugs such as rifampin, isoniazid, and old-time TB was relatively easy to cure. Took 4 drugs, 6 months, $2,000, no great sweat, no problem. CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, has recently studied 38,291 cases in California and found that MDR-TB, note, is in 38 of our 61 medical jurisdictions. 84% of those patients presenting with MDR-TB come from Mexico and the Philippines. The mycobacterium of this horrible type of new tuberculosis resists 2 major TB drugs. It takes 24 months to cure. It costs $250,000 to $1.2 million per patient, and it is 60% fatal. Chagas disease. It has the disgusting nickname of kissing bug disease. It is in Latin America infecting every year 18 million people, of whom 50,000 die. There is no effective cure. Chagas is now infiltrating America's blood supply and our organ transplants. And in 2001, 3 people were given Chagas-infected organ transplants. 2 of them dropped dead. Chagas is a terrible disease because what it does is to infiltrate some major organs, such as the heart or the intestines, which then enlarges and weakens and then ultimately explodes. How about leprosy? Remember it from the Bible? Well, Hansen's disease does a beautiful job of destroying face, flesh, fingers, and toes, and it was so rare in America that in 40 years we had a mere 900 cases. In the past 3, we have 7,000 cases. It is now endemic to the Northwest. One of my former medical students runs a leprosy clinic, and the leprosy is coming in the bodies of illegal aliens, mostly from India, Brazil, the Caribbean, and Mexico. Now let's look at dengue fever. Generally exceptionally rare, usually not fatal, but in 2003 there was a huge outbreak on the Webb County, Texas, Mexico border. Dengue hemorrhagic routinely kills. How about hepatitis A? You all read about it. It's literally transmitted by feces. It's one of those shit diseases. You remember Chi-Chi's restaurant had 3,000 people exposed. Are you surprised? I am known for speaking English. One of the finest languages in the world. 3,000 people were exposed, 2 died right outside of Pittsburgh. 600 were infected in Ohio. Polio we thought we had eradicated, but it's coming back. Malaria we had eradicated with DDT, but it is coming back. How about Kawasaki disease? Do you realize that 4,000 children under the age of 5 every year in this nation contract Kawasaki disease? It makes red eyes, strawberry tongue. It's a cardiovascular infection, and the poor little kids have heart attacks and drop dead. Gonorrhea, syphilis, STDs. Are you aware as to how many illegal aliens are sexually violent predators? So much so that the ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, has a new section called Operation Predator. In 2003, 2,600 sexually violent predators were apprehended, and some were deported, some came back. As of 2004, 6,085 sexually violent predators were apprehended. That's 250 a month. Good job. 1,800 of these illegal alien predators were actually on the Megan's Law list. They generally tend, of course, to attack children, and you have read about all of these horrendous cases in which a child was raped at age 5, and maybe that nice one you heard about the 8-year-old who was raped and then buried alive. And I'm sorry to say that many of these cases actually end in the morgue, not the clinic, so we therefore don't add them to our sexually transmitted disease roster. Child sex predators have been apprehended in such numbers that we can say Arizona, 207, Illinois, 282, Texas, 545, and in our beloved state of California, 1,578, and in San Diego, 685. So, my dear friends, this is the unseen. We have an opportunity to say the unseen is unseen, it's not real, so let's just ignore it. Or we can crag. Crag. C-R-A-G. What is that? Close and police the borders. R. Rescind the citizenship of anchor babies. A. Aiding and abetting illegal aliens. It's on the books. It's a law. It's a crime. Punish it. And the last, J. Grant no new amnesties.